Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome. Good to have you all here. All right, so you can
what's going to push him over the edge.
Say hello to the other amazing educators and leaders in the space. Good to be here with you.
And he specifically talked to him.
If
like, I don't know,
don't say hi, I'm going to take your mute off.
Drugs and how
like, unmute yourself. Don't make me do that.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Did
you want me to?
As we know, it gets plenty loud. So I'm going to mute all of you so that there's less ambient sound. Welcome, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michelle, and I'm one of the lead trainers at Breathe for Change. It is my great honor to work for this movement and to have been a part of it since 2020, right before the pandemic. Before we do anything else, I'm going to invite us all to just arrive here in the space. This is one of our favorite SEL practices. It is the 2-word check-in. Let's take a moment together. You can put your hands on your heart. You can sit or you can stand for this. Do whatever you need to do or you know works for you to just arrive. And if you're not sure, I'm going to invite you just to feel your breath. Take a moment, eyes open or closed. And take a deep breath in and out. Feel yourself arriving here. Recognize where you've been and where you've come from, and just come here now. You might feel what you're seated on or what you're standing on, feeling your feet in the earth if you are standing, feeling your seat, your chair beneath you if you're seated, and growing your spine, lengthening vertically. And then as you're breathing, you can feel yourself expanding and feel yourself expand out sideways. So you expand all the way out to the sides as if you could just energetically connect to all of these amazing humans here today in this space. I mean, it's true. We can connect. We are connected. It's happened right now because we showed up. And we can just recognize that we are here in this space together with the intention of learning a little bit about trauma-informed yoga and how you can bring that into your classroom. So welcome, everybody. I put a link into the chat if you would like to learn more about our 200-hour training. And while I have you here, I'll just share a little bit about Breathe for Change, who we are and what we do. I'll introduce myself. And I will then have us talk about trauma-informed yoga. But before I do that, 2-word check-in. What are you two words to describe how you're feeling right now in this moment? After we've taken that time to breathe, to feel, to arrive, how are you right now? Calm and excited? Tired? Yeah, I feel you. What are some other words? Calm and at peace. There's no wrong answer here, friends. Stressed, calm, present, peace, positive mode, but tired, exhausted, relaxed, seeking peace, focused and tired, fatigued, overwhelmed, motivated, stressed, tired, anxious, interested, curious, sick, I'm so sorry, optimistic, tentative, focused. We welcome everything. And I invite you to also do that. When you check in with yourself and you feel like some kind of, emotion that maybe you wish you didn't have, well, welcome it in, because the way through is to invite and to recognize and to hold who we are. And I find that the more I allow my emotions to move rather than clinging or, pushing that then they get to move through more freely. So, and that actually is in alignment with the teachings of yoga. So Breathe for Change. We are an organization on a mission to improve the lives of educators and leaders like yourselves. And this movement was started by my good friend, Ilana Nankin, who is our founder and our CEO, and she's also my co-lead trainer. And we lead our 200-hour training right alongside of each other. And Ilana was a pre-K teacher in the San Francisco school system. And, she found herself feeling really overworked, stressed, and tired. And so she started to practice yoga. And then she started to bring these practices into her classroom and have moments of like breathing breaks and a calm corner in her pre-K classroom. And pretty soon her kids were exhibiting this behavior. They were talking to each other in a way that, they were actually using their words, like, that doesn't feel good to me. And other teachers started to ask her, hey, what are you doing in your classroom? So she started sharing, and they were also asking her, hey, can you teach me some yoga, some physical asana practice so that I can feel better? And so she started to teach, and she went and got her 200-hour, and she started to recognize the benefits of this. So she then left teaching and enrolled at the University of Wisconsin in Madison to get her PhD in curriculum design and instruction. And there she studied, for her dissertation, she studied the effects of mindfulness-based practices on teachers who were actually interested in creating social change in their classroom. And that was sort of the birthplace of this movement, Breathe for Change, where now, where I sit, we have trained over 6,000 educators in mindfulness and yoga. And of course, you leave our training with an SEL facilitator certificate, as well as your yoga teacher training credential. And we are the world's only 200-hour. That's where you get that 200-hour yoga teaching credential. That's the entry-level credential for yoga instructors. It is international, and we're the only one in the world that offers that. So it is a full asana training, and you also get your full SEL. And there is this bent towards educators, which makes our training incredibly special and unique. And so today, I'm going to offer you a little bit of a taste of what we do at Breathe for Change, and specifically a little bit about me. Yeah, thank you. SEL is social emotional learning. And here at Breathe for Change, word to the wise, we tack on the F to SEL, and we call it self, because we believe that everything begins with the self. So you're in the right place. You're here. You're going to learn some incredible practices that you can use on your own, and you can also take them into the classroom. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Just a little bit about me, so you know who's presenting today. I came to Breathe for Change as a asana. That's the physical modern postural practice that we call yoga in the West. It's just really a very small part of what yoga actually is. And I've been an instructor of this physical form of asana and mindfulness-based movement for over 20 years. I'm a lifetime instructor. I have a number of different trainings under my belt and different lineages that I follow. And I've been training folks to be yoga instructors, teachers of the physical practice for about 12 years. I've been practicing on my yoga mat for 27 years. And in that 27-year period, it's made me a better person. So that's my desire, is to offer these tools and skills to other humans so that they can lead their own, like, more fulfilled, more grounded, more mindful lives. And I've taught in many different venues. I've taught in yoga studios. I've taught internationally. I've led yoga retreats. I have taught at corporations, in private homes, in schools, in classrooms, outside, in parks. I've done it all, also here online. And I started with Breathe for Change right alongside Ilana in San Francisco, leading one of these trainings. It was our 200-hour training in the San Francisco Bay Area that started January of 2020. And you know what that meant is that by end of March, we had pivoted and we were entirely online. And we had no idea the tremendous impact that this course and this training and this community could have on educators everywhere. So the pandemic, in that sense, and moving online, has given us a lot more bandwidth to reach more educators, which is our mission. So it's very, very exciting. And I'm really thrilled to be here with all of you. So with that being said, are you ready to get started learning some trauma-informed yoga practices you can use in the classroom? You can give me a thumbs up, an emoji, whatever hand gesture. You can put it in the chat. Yes, please. All right. Awesome. All right, friends. So let me share my screen and hopefully you can see that. Yes. All right. Okay. So friends, trauma-informed yoga for the classroom. Our first outcome that we want you to walk away with is for you. It is that you enhance your well-being by embodying some mindful movement practices. And then our second outcome is that you will be able to integrate inclusive mindful movement techniques into your classroom or your community. And then finally, our final outcome is that you get to build some community with amazing educators and leaders like yourself who are committed to using wellness and social emotional learning as vehicles for healing and social change. So just a little bit about the 8 SELF components that we have, and this is a part of our training, and they also map to the CASEL competencies. CASEL is the organization that certifies, and it's the governing body of SEL, social emotional learning practices. Our first one is to settle in. We already did a settle in today. I had you just pause for a moment, feel your body, feel your breath, settle in together. And I used a 2-word check-in. That's one of our tools that we use a lot at Breathe for Change. And I used the second one. I used breath awareness to get us here. In a moment, we'll be doing mindful movement. And all of this, moment of like, say hi to everybody, put your 2 words into the chat. All of that is creating community and connection. And these practices bring us into greater focus, greater creative expression. We can offer ourselves a moment of relaxation and softening, and we have powerful closing. So these are the 8 SELF components that in our training, we walk you through each and every one of these and explain the importance of them and how to incorporate them into your life and into your teaching. So from here, we're going to talk specifically today about mindful movement from here on out. All right, so the benefits of mindful movement practices, well, just to name a few, they strengthen your body and they actually stimulate the mind, arriving in that connection with our breath and with our body and actually feeling how we are can then increase our energy level and enhance performance. And what I mean by that is it can enhance performance if you're doing these in the classroom in a proactive way. We'll talk about that in a moment. But if you are continuing to do these practices with your children, you'll notice that there is increased performance. They have increased ability to focus, better energy levels, they're more relaxed, they're more connected to the learning and ready to receive it. And then, why else are these movement practices important? So we sit for inordinate amounts of time in this world that we're living in, right? So we all know that we, as adults, it's been talked about a lot that we sit too much as adults. We sit at desks, we have, tight shoulders that are hunched up. Well, even though we often associate the dangers of a sedentary life with adulthood, working a desk job, children are also at risk. And especially within today's standardized education system, and we have a technologically driven world, studies have really shown that children across the globe now sit for an average of 8.5 hours every day. And that activity levels drop significantly after age 8. Wow. It's just, you think about it. And I read somewhere that sitting is the new smoking. Right. So everybody used to smoke and not really know that it was damaging their health. In the 50s, it was like a cool thing to smoke and everybody smoked. And now everybody sits. Right. And we're not recognizing that it really is bringing, a lot of negative health adverse effects into our lives. The problem only increases for those in the online learning space as well. So it is so important to move. All right, so as educators, we have the opportunity to provide movement breaks, mindful movement, mindful moments for our students in order to help mitigate the risks of too much sitting, so we can help them. And so when you're taking yoga out into your school or your community, There are so many ways that you can incorporate these practices. So within the classroom, you can facilitate short chair yoga practices, and you can use those as brain breaks between extended periods of sitting or focused work, or you could do them as energizing activities if you notice that your students are getting kind of tired or disengaged or unfocused. And you could also incorporate some chair yoga practices into your daily teaching routine. And I'm saying specifically chair yoga just because in the classroom, it tends to be that we're seated at a desk. There's no reason why you couldn't do this standing. There are a lot of practices that I'll show you today that are standing practices as well as seated ones. And you can start every class, for example, with 1 to 3 minutes of this mindful movement. And it could be, that's how you open your class every day. And then we also have a way that we can use these practices as transitions between activities, like after recess or after lunch or before a test. And you can just normalize the use of this practice as that kind of transition by letting the students experience and identify the benefits for themselves. So when we're teaching mindful movement, here are some steps to remember as we learn to facilitate mindful movement practices with the students. So first, you want to begin by warming up the body. If you are going to be moving into bigger movements, you want to warm up for those bigger movements. So you'll feel a little bit of that today in the way that I structure our time together. And when time is limited, you can just move to a simple cat-cow movement, which is you're seeing here on the slide. She's on all fours, moving her spine in both directions. That's the cat and cow movement. And this links breath to movement. It can really be a great way to warm your students up and to get them moving. And there's a way that we'll do it today that is seated. You can do this from a tabletop, like this is the tabletop position, being on all fours. And if you have more space, you could draw on sun salutations, which we will also practice today. And you can practice actual poses. So the postures, the warrior poses, and those can also be really quite helpful and amazing to practice. And they strengthen the body and they create a sense of being grounded and being present. And then as always, what we want to do after we practice anything that is intentional, that is a mindful practice, is the SEL concept of bringing it back to self-awareness, right? How are you feeling? How did that make you feel? So after taking a few deep breaths, I asked you for how are you feeling? Give me a 2-word check-in, right? So you practice the mindful movement, and you'll hear me doing this as we move through the course today. Where you're engaging in something, you're experiencing it, and then I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about it, right? So that you can get self-reflective. And what we do when we do this over time, more and more with the kids, they begin to have a vocabulary of how they are feeling. They begin to recognize, oh, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. And it's truly, truly astounding how much this can help. And it can help in both a responsive as well as a proactive way. What do I mean by that? When we're using these, we can draw on these tools to help us and our students, and we can do this in moments of heightened stress or heightened stimulus, and that would be integrating them proactively into the day. So you can, that would be in a heightened moment of stress, that would be reactive, right? There's a heightened moment, and then you're going to respond reactively. Proactive is to have them integrated proactively as a daily practice, like I said, in the beginning and during and making transitions. And the more you do this in a proactive way, that also helps them build really healthy habits. So you can use them in both ways, these tools that we're going to talk about. And so here are a few mindful movement practices, and some of them we're going to experience today, but I did want to just show you these together. You've got sun salutations, and sun salutations, if you happen to be a yoga instructor or have taken classes, this is a whole practice that you can do on a yoga mat or here on the floor. It does take up a little bit of space, but I will show you today how to do a sun salutation in a chair or at a desk. there's a peaceful warrior practice. This is using some of the asanas, the actual postures from the yoga tradition, and doing them to increase groundedness, presence, and strengthen the body. Power poses. So power poses, just standing, hands on the hips. We'll experience that in a moment. And then become a butterfly. This is a practice that we would teach you in our 200 hour. I'm not going to go into it today, but the young ones really love this one. This is for younger kids where they can like embody a butterfly in butterfly pose, flapping their knees as their wings and going on a journey. I mean, if you happen to be a creative storyteller, you get it. Like feet together, knees apart, you're in butterfly pose, flapping the knees, and then create some visualization for them to take off as butterflies. So these are some really fun practices that I wanted to share. And now I'm going to show you what we are going to be working with today. We're going to go through flower breathing. We'll do some shoulder rolls, some seated side bends, some seated twists, half sun salutations, and we will end with breath of joy. So we're going to get started, and I am going to stop my share for now and take a look. Are you excited to start with your flower breathing? Let me know. Show me an emoji or a thumbs up or some kind of yes in the chat. All right. So we're going to do some flower breathing. Yeah. Thanks for that emoji. That's what I was hoping for. All right, so let's take a moment now. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands together. You can put the palms and the pinkies and your thumbs together and spread your hands, your fingers wide, and you can create any kind of a flower here. And then bringing that flower down just so that you can see your own flower. I invite you to just look and imagine what kind of a flower you have. What color is it? What do the petals look like? And maybe does it have a smell to it? So just honoring your own creativity and your own visualization. And let's take that flower and raise it up as you inhale, reaching your flower up to the sun, reaching it up, and then closing, bringing the fingers together, closing the flower and closing it up for the winter or for the evening, and bringing it back down. And then opening it up, the start of a brand new day, reaching it up to the sun, growing that flower upward as you inhale. And as you exhale, closing the flower and bringing it down to sleep, to rest for the evening or for the winter. And let's do that one more time. Inhale, reaching it up, opening up that flower, reaching it up to the sunlight, the sky, and then closing as you exhale, close. And bring your hands down. Take a moment. Now, let's do a group practice together. So this is something cool that you could do on the Zoom screen. You could also do it in a classroom. If you're having students actually touch, they could touch, or they could pretend. They could sit in a circle and have hands close to each other. But let's try to form flowers with the person to the left and the right of you in the Zoom screen. See what you can do with that. Yep. And then inhale, everyone together, raising your two flowers up. Well, I lost mine. There it goes. And then closing it as you exhale, bringing it down. And you can see how fun this would be for a group of kids online. Inhale and in person, reaching up, trying to get those flowers to rise up together as you're inhaling. It's challenging, right? And then exhaling, bringing those flowers back down. And one more time. Let's do it one more time. We got this. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, closing. And then take a moment, bring your hands to your heart. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And feel. Right. How do you feel? How was that for you? Give me one word to describe how that felt. If that was fun, silly, happy. I love this idea of mindful teamwork, calming, relaxed, happy, creative, cheerful, becoming fun, joyful, silly, centering, right? You can add in that connection to the breath. And it's fun. It's super fun. Yeah. So you can see all the different places that can go. It's so exciting. All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. Peaceful. I like the idea, just not on Zoom. Yeah. But you can, the idea is there and you can really mold it to suit you. There's so many different ways that you can do that. All right. Friends, let's take some shoulder rolls. So as you're sitting, rolling the shoulders. How's that feeling? You might feel a little snap, crackle, pop in there, get some noises. I know that's what happens to me. There's a lot going on in those shoulders. And change the direction of your shoulder rolls as you're ready. And let's do one more shoulder roll. Bring your fingertips onto your shoulders. And then take your little chicken wings and flap them around. Flap those chicken wings in both directions. So that's another one. You can play with your kids and flap the wings and do a little shoulder roll. Have fun with that. All right. Now some seated side bends. As you're sitting, you can bring your left hand out to the side or hold onto the side of the chair. Whatever works. Take your right arm and reach it up as you inhale. And exhale, lean into your side bend. Just feeling that stretch in the side body. Taking a moment here. Big breath in, expanding the rib cage. You can let your head hang or relax your neck. Maybe you look down. You could close your eyes. Now reach your right arm to the right and down. And let's take that left arm, reach it up and exhale, lean. And just easing into the stretch, feeling your left side stretching open, shoulders relaxed. Take a deep breath here, relaxing your neck. Maybe you look down. And then exhale, reach that left arm back and come on up. All right, how are you feeling now? Shoulder rolls and side bends. How are you feeling? What are a few words to describe, or maybe some emojis? You feeling relaxed, great, stretched out, chill, energized, flexible, stretched, loosen some tight areas. You're better that you moved. Yeah, I agree. Me too. Yep, bone cracking. All right. So now I'm going to invite you to put your inner child or your young hat on and join me in a little moment. We're going to keep, bouncing through different ages. So here we are, we're young ones. What if you reached up and you created a rainbow across the sky and just spread those colors, shine that rainbow out to the side, take a big breath into that. This could be a rainbow, maybe it's a banana. You can find maybe a moon and then reach the arm to the other side and let's draw that rainbow, paint that rainbow across the sky. Maybe you're reaching up for stars, letting that shape just be whatever fun thing you can come up with. And then feeling into that rainbow, shining out and then painting it and coming back down. All right. So how was that? Was that fun? Do a little rainbow painting, or maybe you want to do like reaching for the stars? That's a good one. Yeah. Cool. All right. So seated twist, that's what's next. And yeah, I'm fully aware that my background, my arms disappear, and the practices that we're doing, it's much less distracting with my background on because of where I am today. So just so you know, I'm well aware. We're going to do some seated twists. And you can follow along with me. You can put your right hand over on your left knee and your left arm behind you. Relax your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation, lengthening upward, and exhaling, twisting. So you can twist any way that works for you. You don't have to be able to see my full body to get it. You can feel it in your body. Boy, I had some snap, crackle, pop in my spine for this one. Take another breath in and out. And then come back to center and take your left hand to your right knee, your right arm behind you, and inhale, grow your spine up tall, and exhaling, twisting. And maybe you're looking over your right shoulder. Take another big breath in and exhaling. Oh, feeling that twist feels so good to twist. Oh, twists are such an important thing to do. So come on back. You tell me, how did that feel for you to twist? Karen, I'm well versed with teaching asana, and if those are not good for your body, then what I would invite you to do instead of twisting, can you twist without using your arms can you do a reach up and twist like this using the spine and see if that would work for you? That would be one way, just using your natural, not using the arms to create a little more flow. And side bending, same thing, just leaning over to the side. You could sit on a hand. You could all try this with me. Sit on one hand and then lean away from the hand. And that's going to give you a stretch across the neck, and it's going to lengthen the spine. And that might be a nicer way to do that. And I don't know about letting your head hang and relaxing the neck. That could also be a challenge for that. You could roll up a towel, put it around your shoulders, and then when your head goes to the side, it lands on the towel. Those are just some ideas. Thanks, friends. Love twisting. Opens up the chest, releases stress. Yeah, you will get the recording of this. For those of you who are asking for the PowerPoint, you'll get the recording of this. We don't actually give you the actual slides themselves. But if you join our 200-hour training, you get our entire curriculum. So it's all of this and more. So you can check that link I just put in the chat if you're interested to. You can just schedule a call with one of our educational development advisors. They're all folks that come right out of education, just like you. And they're amazing at being, asking questions and finding out, navigating, what do you need, what works, they'll answer all of your questions. Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah, of course. So, okay, so we are going to move into some half sun salutations. So for this one, let's see if, oops. I'm going to take my background off and we'll see how this works. It's a little bit messy back there, but I thought it was too light, but it looks like the light has shifted. So maybe we can do this. All right. So I'm going to back up. Here we go. And we're going to practice some sun salutations in the chair, seated. So you can now see my lap. And what I will do is I'm going to scaffold this. So we're going to build on the movements. Please honor your body, honor where you are at and what feels good to you. You can stop anywhere along the way, right? So I'll just keep adding different ideas. So let's try it out. Take a deep inhalation, reach your arms up over your head. You can inhale, look up, and exhaling, bring the hands together through heart center. Bring your hands onto your lap. I'm going to take my forearms like this and slide them down. If you were a student at a desk, you could have your students put their arms like this on the desk and their head down, right? So similar here, we've got our forearms across our lap, and you're just going to let your body fold over your lap. And then inhale, open up the chest. This is the cow movement that we showed you in the cat-cow. And then you can roll up and come back up to sit. All right, that's a half sun salutation. Let's continue on. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands through heart center. You can stay on the lap. You can slide across and your hands down the legs. And I know you can't see me, but my hands are holding onto my legs for support. If you have the ability to touch the floor, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, roll your way up and come on up. All right, let's keep going. You can separate your legs wide so that now instead of laying on your legs, you're going to come a little bit deeper between the legs. Feel if that's right for you. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhaling, hands through heart center, sliding the hands down the legs. You have some support and let your body come down between the legs, hands on the floor, or maybe some blocks, and inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, roll your way up and come up to sit. All right, so what happens if you're teaching some young ones? Let's change this up now. So I'm going to invite you to put that your creative hat on and do a little role play now. And let's go really, really young. Let's do like, I don't know, first, second, third grade. And apparently some of my middle school teachers are like, I don't know, my middle schoolers might think that was kind of hilarious. So I don't know, you tell me. All right, ready? We're going to be little kids. So I want you to inhale, reach up, look up for the sun, grab onto that sun and bring that sun right down into your heart and rub that warmth into your heart. And then let's bow down to the earth and touch the grass and feel the earth. And you can take an inhale and smell the grass or the flowers, and then exhale, bowing down again to the earth, and then bringing yourself right up again. All right, so a little fun play there. Now, one more way to do this, and this, one of my colleagues who used to teach middle school, she showed me this one, and I really like it a lot. And I think this could work in general for a lot of different ages. So we're going to do it more to a little bit of a beat and a little bit of a count. So maybe you had a song that you like to play or that your kids like to play. So you can imagine playing that song. Let's try it out. So inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3. Fold forward 1, 2, 3. Inhale, halfway lift 2, 3. Exhale 2, 3, and roll your body up for 2, 3. How was that? So now you can do that and get everyone moving together on the beat and having a little fun. So those are just some fun ideas. I'm curious how that was for you in your body. So let me know. You like the counting. I kind of do too. And imagine if you got a good song with a little bit of a beat that had no lyrics, something like that. The pre-K kids will love it. That was great. Awesome. Yeah. So you have a lot of different choices here. I'm so glad. Awesome. Yeah. So good. Even when sitting on the floor. Oh, wow. Noelle's in a bar stool chair. So you really had a long way to go. Way to go. That's some core strength, Noelle. All right. Yeah, counting is good, but we love songs. All right. So friends, I'm going to invite you to stand in a power pose. I told you we'd practice that. You may have met a power pose before. This is a great practice for embodiment. And this last practice that we're doing today, we're doing a power pose, and then I'm throwing the power pose in right before breath of joy. So these are practices that you really get more out of them standing. And I understand if you're not standing today, cool, please take care of yourself. So I'm going to invite you to embody your favorite superhero, right? So you know how superhero stands, you got to like put on your superhero boots. So take a step with your left, take a step with your right, like stepping into those superhero boots and your hands on your hips. And then imagine that mission that you have, like, what do you stand for? I'm going to stand for love today. So like, imagine that emblazoned across your chest and just really lift your chest and your chin a little bit higher. And then feel, how do you feel right now? Deep breath in and out. You can imagine your cape swirling behind you as you stand on a cliff surveying the city that you got it. Take a moment, breathe into that. All right. Yeah. So how was that for you? Oh yeah, any chair, absolutely. You can use any chair at all. You love that. Empowering, focusing. All right. Too short. Yeah, sure. We could stand there for a while. Excellent. Opening the chest, empowering. Fantastic. All right, friends. So we are going to move into breath of joy now. So feeling powerful. We're ready to go. Yeah, being kindness hero. All right, so breath of joy. It is a 3-part inhale like this. You're inhaling for 1, 2, 3. So it's, and then you're exhaling and you're going to open your mouth and you're going to make sound as you exhale, fold forward. And if folding forward like that doesn't work for your body, just make the sound and drop the arms, right? You can do just the sound and you can stay in your chair, of course. Absolutely. Everybody practice in a way that, or do this movement with me in a way that works for you. And guess what? I'm going to invite you. It's so much more fun to do this when we can all make sound. So I'm going to let you come off mute. Please join me in like expressing, like maybe your day, maybe your week. You're going to let it go. Have some fun with me. Here we go. Here we go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Again. Inhale. All right. All right, friends. I hear some giggling. It's super silly and fun. Yeah. How was that for you? I just muted you all again. Your students would love this. Yeah. Breath of joy. It's so good. It's such a great break and a great release, a great way to just let it go. Tensions are high. Let's just And adults, we need that too, that sense of play. So you can use that anytime, letting it out. Yeah. Some of you are like, I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep doing the breath of joy. You can feel that it's an uplifting, it's an energetic, a very, very playful thing. Yeah, you needed that. All right. Me too. I feel so much more awake and alive. So I am going to remind you of how you can get some more information if you're curious. We teach all of these practices and we give you classroom curriculum and we train you in how to facilitate these in our 200-hour training. So if you are interested, please check that out. And let's review your toolkit that you're walking away with today. So you've got your flower breathing. Remember that we did that first? We had the arms moving up and down. We did it together as well as individually. And then we moved into shoulder rolls. We did some seated side bends, some seated twists, some half sun salutations, and finally the breath of joy. So one of the things that I did is that I tried to get you warmed up for the half sun salutations with the shoulder rolls, the seated side bends, and the twists, so that when we did that half sun salutation, you were more or less ready to do that full forward fold over your lap, and the breath of joy standing. For some folks, folding forward, that's not going to happen standing. That's not great for their body. And if folks are warmed up, they can generally, the folks that are going to fold forward are going to have a happier time folding forward. So you do want to just be conscious. These are pretty good standalone things. And I would always do some kind of a twist or a side bend or a shoulder roll to get folks ready for the bigger movements of the half sun salutations. Kids are pretty flexible. If you're doing this with kids, I think virtually all of these could be done just as a standalone with kids, and always teach it in an invitational way and have folks remember that they have agency over their body and to take care of themselves. So this is my good friend, Dr. Alana Nankin, with her student, Patrick, who at the tender age of 4 said, everything that I believe right here is that in a community, first you have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And so please, please, please take these practices, make them your own, share them with your people, share them with your kids, and feel, how do they work for you? What helps you? What shifts your energy? What increases your focus? how are your students reacting? So you can really in real time use all of these practices in a proactive way, as well as a responsive, reactive way. When tensions are high, you can pull out some of these and shift the energy. I've seen it done. It's so amazing. And so thank you so much for joining me today for our mindful movement time together. And one of the things about a trauma-informed practice is the language that I've been using with you this entire time. I've been saying, I invite you to, if you want to find out, check out, try this. If you don't want to stand today, that's cool. If this works in your body. So this is all the language of being trauma informed. And what we're doing is offering folks a sense of agency, because everyone responds differently to trauma. What might be trauma for someone might not be trauma for someone else. So it's just recognizing that there is this whole widespread, we don't know how someone else is going to respond. And so what we do is we offer invitation, try this out. And you then are given agency as the student. You're given agency to choose. It's like, oh, I can take care of my body. I can choose to not do that. That feels really good, you know? So that's another important tenet. And we also teach in a trauma-informed way in our 200-hour training. And if you have, I saw somebody has a 200-hour training certificate already. We do have an advanced training that's our 300-hour. And so if that is something that's interesting, I'm going to stay a little bit now, and I'm going to talk more. I'm going to shift gears and talk a little bit about our 200-hour training. So if I've piqued your interest, you want to hang out with me a little more, that's awesome. I invite you to do that. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. This was such a wonderful, fun afternoon with you. And I'm seeing all the thank you in the chat. Thank you. Got some rainbows. Yeah, we do. We do collaborate with schools in New York City, most definitely. And actually, Dr. Ilana is going to do the keynote at a SHAPE conference coming up she'll be in New York. And several of my colleagues, we have a very remote team. We span the whole country. We do have some folks in New York there. So absolutely reach out, Ina. You can reach out, or you can just, here's the link again, friends. You can schedule a talk with our educational advisor. And if you have ideas, if you want to bring us to your school, we do PDs, we work with districts. We get districts to buy our training for a group of folks and send a group of folks. I mean, we do all kinds of really creative things to get you into this training because we believe in it so much. So thanks so much for joining me today. And our website, we have some tools for you on the website, but really that is more the in-house stuff. And we also have a membership that I'm going to talk about. So if you're not interested in our training, but you want to join our community and our membership, we have a lot of curriculum in the membership. And I will talk about that. Just one more time, here's that link, and stay and let's dive into what our movement is all about and what we do. This is the special sauce of Breathe for Change is our 200-hour training. So what are our training outcomes? First and foremost, the number one intention of our training is for you to enhance your own physical, mental, and social emotional well-being by cultivating a personal and sustainable yoga and meditation practice. And why? Because you matter. You really do matter, each and every one of you. Second, our intention is that you get to walk away being able to teach inclusive and accessible yoga classes and meditation practices for adults and young people, both in person and digitally. Finally, we also hope that you graduate with the tools to effectively facilitate social emotional learning and wellness experiences for adults and young people in your school, your district, or your organization, both digital and in-person spaces. We teach to both. formats. Finally, this is my favorite one, is, community is at the heart of everything that we do at Breathe for Change. And our final intention is that you will build incredible connections by joining our community of passionate educators and leaders who are committed to using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change. So now we know where we're headed. Now, what are we going to actually learn? So we have 6 content areas in our training. We have the Breathe for Change workshops. This is really our special spice that only comes through the Breathe for Change 200-hour training. And it is what we start with is our transformational curricular progression, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. And there's just so much content here, and I'll talk more about it in a moment. Our SELF, like I said, we tack on the F to SEL because everything starts with the self. And we give you lots of tools and practices like I did today to use in your classroom to bring in that social emotional learning. And the asana, that is the physical posture of modern day postural yoga. And that's my baby. I create the curriculum and I facilitate the asana portion. We have a meditation course that you go through as a part of our training. You learn to meditate in all these different ways. And we have a lot of ways and tools that will help you increase your meditation practice and ways to bring it into the classroom. We study philosophy, the philosophy that really is what yoga is all about, the further definition of yoga. We have incredible conversations about the philosophy. We pay attention to the roots of this incredible practice. And anatomy, you learn about the body, how to keep the body safe. It's a doorway into being able to facilitate these amazing physical practices, knowing the anatomy a little bit better and how to work with different types of bodies. So our transformational curricular progression is amazing, and it's research-based wellness curriculum that follows a transformational progression that aims to empower you as a champion of well-being in your own life, your relationships, and your community. And we start with transformation of the self. And this is where we begin our training. We begin with a focus on the self to support us in enhancing and prioritizing our own well-being. And then we move into transformation of relationships. From the foundation of our own well-being, we move into that transformation of relationships where we explore how to enhance well-being and show up fully in all of our relationships. Then we move into transformation of community, and we explore how to use wellness, SEL, and yoga as vehicles for healing and social change across all of our communities. And then at the end, we complete our training with integration and renewal, where we integrate the incredible experience that we have shared and prepare for new beginnings as we begin the next chapter of our journey as leaders. So, every aspect of our curriculum is intentionally designed to support all of you in using wellness, SEL, and yoga for healing and social change. And it is needed now more than ever. And we're just, your entire training team is so excited to be right there with you every step of the way. So you do get 2 certifications through this training. So let's just briefly talk about those because we like to know what we're getting. You get your 200-hour yoga teacher certification. That is a CYT 200. You have that for life. You graduate from our training, you get that. What this allows you to do is then register with the Yoga Alliance, which is the governing body of yoga instructors, and it is international. And you get to register with them. You pay them. It's an annual fee. It's around $120 or something. They change it, and it depends on your credential. I have a higher level credential, so I pay a little bit more. And it is really the international gold standard. And then you will also get the Social Emotional Learning Facilitator, our SELF certification, which is widely recognized now, and it qualifies you to lead SEL mindfulness and wellness workshops in your school, and you can do it in your community, your district, or your organization. And then we do offer graduate credits and continuing education units. We always do this, and they will be available to you. I actually think that slide is not up to date because we're currently negotiating on a new way to get grad credits. So you can go to our website. I'll put that link in with the updated information. So I mentioned our trainings. They are all on Zoom, and they are the most interactive sessions you can imagine. We go into breakout rooms, we have conversations. It's an incredible day. And then we also have the on-demand content. This is your self-paced content that we're dripping the content to you in between the training. So we're not overwhelming you, and we're kind of guiding you with like, okay, here's what's next, and here's what's next. So you have about 12 hours once a month of live sessions, Saturday and Sunday. I'll talk about the structure a little bit later, but so you get an idea. So we go for 6 months, once a month during the school year. We do have summer sessions, and those are differently organized. They're intensive. Those go for 6 weeks, and you're meeting every week. In between our live sessions that happen once a month, you have your on-demand content that you're doing. And that's anywhere from like, I don't know, 12 to 15 hours a month that you're doing. Some folks more. It depends on how you learn, but you have that for life and you can keep going. And for some people's learning styles, it's so great to have this on-demand content that you can review over and over again. And we have this membership. This is what I was talking about. This is not our training, but you do get this with the training. So you join our training and you get to be a part of our incredible membership where we offer these wellness and SEL PDs. We have classroom resources for you, workshops, articles, there's community events, community conversations. I'm teaching asana, I'm teaching chair yoga. My colleagues are teaching other things. There's mindful meditations, there's a restorative yoga class. There's so much great stuff for you. So with that, I'm just going to pop into the chat. And the membership is around $19 a month. Someone asked about it, and you get it for free if you're in our training. Thanks for putting the 300-hour training in there. Glad you asked. I can put in some other links for you. So you do get an educator discount, which is amazing. And I'm going to invite you to check this link out, and then I'm going to talk to you about it. So we want to make our training accessible to educators. So we have a number of different ways that you can do it. We do not offer discounts to nonprofits, but Kristen, you can get the educator discount. We call it an educator discount. We define educator as an leaders, anyone who's working in their community. If you want this training, we will make it accessible to you. And we have a number of different ways that that we do that. So let me just walk you through the, so here are the upcoming dates. So I talked about our school year cohorts, and they happen about once a month. So you can see that it's like 6 or 7 months, and we try to spread them out so you have time and space to integrate the information in between. These are our upcoming dates for the coming this fall. This weekend, we're starting a new training. We still have a few spots, although I will tell you they are going fast. And then we'll start in January. And then, we continue throughout the year. So if these dates don't work for you, you can talk to an educational development advisor right now, and you can tell them, hey, I'd be more interested in doing a summer or maybe an April session. We do have more sessions coming all the time. So now, how do you join our Breathe for Change community? I've been talking at you for a long time. So here's our application process. You're automatically getting $1,000 educator discount. So it brings your tuition to $1,995. If you click on the link that I've put in the chat and you schedule your opportunity to talk to our educational development advisor, everyone that comes into the training talks to one of our advisors or to myself and Ilana. We do info webinars and we talk to folks there. And we do that because we want to ensure that it's the right fit, and we want to help you. We want to figure out, like, how is this going to work? We do have payment plans. We Yes, there are payment plans. So our payment plan, you'll talk to your educational development advisor. You pay a $250, we call it a deposit. It's $250 deposit to secure your spot. And if you're going to pay for this on your own, it's $250 every month, and it's automatically drawn from that card. Now, we also want to support educators in getting this funded. I mean, if we can get district money, PD funds, if we can get somebody else to help you pay for it, we think that's awesome. So there are many different avenues. And again, you can click on the link and just talk to one of our development advisors about it. And also, do you all know something called Donors Choose? Have you heard of Donors Choose? It's like a GoFundMe for educators. And so we have a number of tools. I'm going to put those into the chat so that you can see them. So Donors Choose, here's some information about it. So it's like a GoFundMe. What you would do is you can click on that link for Donors Choose and follow the steps. You set up your GoFundMe, if you will. It's your Donors Choose. And there are steps that you have to take to let us know. You get information from us so that then you can send that to Donors Choose, and the funding gets set up for you. And you can secure your spot with the $250. And if your Donors Choose gets funded, we give you the money back, right? You just can hold on to your spot. Now, Donors Choose has a deadline. So you can't do Donors Choose now for the October training. That's this weekend. Time has passed. The deadline is a month out from a training. So consider that by like December for the January, like start now doing your Donors Choose. If you want to join our January cohort, start now. Another thing to do is to get your district on board. You can get school and district funding, and we've created this justification letter for you. You can click on that and use that letter, send it to your admin, your supervisor, and there are lots of other ways. I've had people organize this for their school, have more than one teacher from a school go. And so you can talk to our EDAs, our educational development advisors, about it. Chris, Kelly, and Bree, they're all such incredible humans. Kelly was a school principal. She was a superintendent. She's a district person. She's like a full career in education before coming to us. Same with my colleague Bree, who was a middle school instructor in the Bronx. So they really understand your needs, and you can set up that meeting with them, and you can also use those tools that I put into the chat for you. And here's a little more. Here's the link for you to get that $1,000 discount if you want. And do you have any other questions for me? I'm gonna look at the chat and see if I missed some things. Yeah, and you'll get the recording automatically. Yeah, and the discount works for any of our trainings. And after school tutor, yeah, if you're in any way leading in your communities, because there's a focus on education in the classroom per se, and we have school counselors, we have administrators, we get leaders from all different walks who are more interested. I mean, the benefits of this training are this incredible community who's like-minded folks. So like if you're experiencing something, chances are several people in our community have experienced it, and they might have support for you. Our whole community of past educators. One of the great things in our training is that our past graduates, they come and they mentor our current trainees. So we have like 40 mentors who we divide our larger training into groups of like 10 or 12 people. So you have this smaller family within our larger group, and you meet with that community group is what we call it. You meet with that group once a month. And you can stay in touch with them through email, through our membership, because everyone joins this platform where you can connect with people. It's kind of like a Breathe for Change Facebook, if you will, like our very own platform where you can socially network and meet folks and talk to your community group. And you have a mentor, and that mentor has been through it. They've graduated from our training, they're in schools, they're doing this incredible work, and they can help support you and offer lots of different ideas. With yoga training certified teachers in crisis intervention, no, not if that is like a specific, I'll stay really clear with our scope. And I also think that you have tools in a crisis. I would say that, but I can't say like we specifically certify you for a thing. We give you the certifications that I talked about. The 300-hour program is actually, we offer so many different discounts that I don't want to misspeak about that, but it's your typical 300-hour. It's a graduate level program, a lot more hours and a lot more expertise there. So it's a little bit more expensive, and it does go over a full year. So it's a longer training, and it's somewhere around, with all the discounts, around $3,000. So just to give you an idea for that one. And pelvic floor, we don't offer pelvic floor, but and I don't know if they're trauma informed, but a really good expert on trauma informed, on pelvic floor is a friend of mine named Leslie Howard. I'll write her name in the chat for you. Yeah, you're welcome, Kristen. Leslie Howard. That's for pelvic floor. She's really brilliant. Also Jennifer Moore at Dolphin Method. That's another great resource for you. So my friends, any other questions for me while we're here together? You can raise your digital hand and I'll call on you, or we can call it a night. It's been lovely being with all of you today.